Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. We all must, of course, pray for the repose of the soul of Pope Francis, and of course begin our fervent prayers for the gift of a good, holy, orthodox and strong Pope in the future. I'd suggest as soon as we know the date of the conclave, which is usually between 15 and 20 days after the death of the Pope, or after maybe the burial of the Pope, we'll know soon, that we should start a novena to St. Gregory the Great for a Gregory the Great, or a Pope of his equivalence. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Christos anesti, alithos anesti, Christos voskriesi, voistinu voskriesi. There are many reports of a revival across a lot of the Western world, and especially during this Easter period in France, in the US, in England. The New York Post reports 3 reasons given for this revival: COVID, the internet, and lax alternatives. COVID brought questions of life and death and killed the truth, as we were lied to by so many in government and the media. The internet is bringing, its good purpose is bringing orthodox biblical teaching to a generation that doesn't know the gospel, and bringing many to traditional worship. And indeed, what are the lax alternatives? They're all untrue and inauthentic. Let's explore briefly today what the resurrection means for us, and why only authentic Christianity, Orthodox and Catholic Christianity, can bring true revival. Christianity is a failure, as Father Alexander Schmemann has said, if it means that earthly evils, sickness and sadness and suffering of all kinds are non-existent. True, Christianity allows us to live with and through these things and find great comfort, strength to deal with them. But salvation is not that. We also die, yet Christianity teaches us that death is destroyed and has no dominion over us. What's going on? Christianity, many believe, tells us that yes, much of life can and will be miserable, but one day after we die we'll get to heaven and all will be well. We just have to get through this life. Many believe, as Pope Benedict XVI said, that life is just a waiting room for real life, which is in heaven. And life on this earth is really a cemetery, because everything dies. Many religions teach in life after death: Islam, forms of Judaism, and the secular semi-paganism of today, which sort of believes in God. And anyway, don't worry, because unless you're Hitler, we're all going to heaven, which of course consists of eating and drinking and generally having a nice time for eternity. Rubbish. All of that is rubbish. None of it is Christianity. None of it is the good news. None of it is salvation, the message that changed lives and spread like wildfire across the ancient world, and within less than 3 centuries of the resurrection conquered the gods of the Roman Empire and became the official religion. Our faith, Orthodox Christianity, teaches through the mythical language of the book of Genesis, mythical but true, that God's original blessing, his creation of man, Adam meaning mankind, there was no death. God and man walked in the garden in the cool of the evening, a communion, a union of intimacy and closeness. Something terrible, a rebellion, a desire of humans to replace God, to be God, broke this beautiful unity. Death entered the world, and sin and separation. The very message of these days, the very reason Christ died on the cross, was that only God could restore his original purpose and blessing. And salvation, the resurrection, is that restoration. Christ is the second Adam, the new man who restores the relationship between God and man before the fall. Even more, because Christ is God, we are now in an even closer relationship with him. St. Basil the Great said, "Salvation is the adoption of former times. All of Christ's life, culminating in the death and resurrection, is to return the baptized man or woman into close communion with God from the estrangement caused by his disobedience. The resurrection means we are saved from death's dominion. Muhammad didn't say it, Buddha didn't say it, no dictator ever said it. Only Christ said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." And how do we sustain that life? How are seekers finding their way to the truth? Where is that life fed and nourished? Only in the liturgy. Christ is risen. If we understand and preach that, there will indeed be a religious revival, and the first people to be revived will be us. Brethren, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, like a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.